Hey guys, Rexasaur here and welcome back to World of Tanks. Today we'll be reviewing the T30, the Tier 9 American turreted tank destroyer. Yes, it's here in the tech tree, right there, which is awesome, and follows the line from the Hellcat, which is one of my favourite tanks in the game. Then the T25-2, which is one of the weirdest and possibly worst tank tier for tier, T20 prototype, which is bloody amazing, and then you end up with the T30, which is also bloody amazing in its own weird way. But before we talk about that, let's talk about the stats. 1650 hit points. This is the lowest of the tier 9 TDs. The T95 has, I think, less than that, but I know that, say, the Object 704 has let's see how much. Yeah, that 704 and the T95 share 1700 hit points. The Waffle Tractor Alpha Panzer IV has 1850, and I think that's really much it when it comes to TDs. I know it doesn't, because the Foch has the least, actually, 1550. The British have the most with 2000 for the Tortoise, 2000, and the Soviets. SU also has 1530, so that has the least. Oh, I never knew that. Anyway, so it's on the lower end, but apparently that's the middle. But when you got a tank that does 1530 and then 2000, you know you're in the lower spectrum. Power to weight is pretty good. Does it tell us what the power to weight? No, it does not. But it's pretty good. It's not exactly the fastest with 35 speed limit. But it's, it's when you have the top gun on it, it's, you don't really need to be fast because you've got such a slow reload. Traverse speed of the tank itself is 22, and then the turret is 18. This is a very slow tank when it comes to turning, that's for sure. A bit much like the T29 and the T34, which it shares the same hull and body and, everything, pretty much. Armor wise, it has fuck all on the hull with 102, 76 and 51, but turret wise it is one of the strongest turrets in the game, with the most impenetrable mantlet in the game apart from the T95. 279 front armor on the turret, not including this, which adds an extra 100, so yes, impenetrable. 127 on the side and 102 on the rear. That's right, the rear of the turret is exactly just as strong as the front of the hull. So this is a hold down tank, much like the T34 and the T29. I've played the T29, so I know how to play this tank. And I would definitely recommend going up the heavy line when you go up this, because you will know how to play a T30 series tank, and this one you kind of need to play it. View range 380. I've put binos on mine to make it 470, I think, or something stupid like that, or like 478. I don't even know. It's pretty good. It's not at the you're not really going to be using your view range that much. Like for spotting tanks, you're going to sort of be hanging back, shooting things with your gun, and then backing off to reload. Signal range is very good, but that's a tier 10 radio. Obviously, at tier 9, you can expect having that. Now, let's look at the two massive things of this tank, and that is the guns. In the research tree, you have a set of everything except for turret, which you don't need to upgrade, which is awesome, which means you start off stock with your good turret. However, you do need to get the tracks before you get the second gun, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think so. I can't remember, really. Which is really irritating, because this gun is terrible. It is exactly the same gun on the T29, so you literally start the game as a T29. Then with the second upgraded turret gun, which is the same gun on the top gun on the T20 and the T20 prototype, and the same gun on the T34. So you become a T34 basically with that gun. And then after a very long grind, and I tell you guys, it is one of the longest grinds ever, you get the 155. This amazing gun with 276 penetration and 750 damage. You basically become the god of death. But not much more God of Death than, say, an ISU, an Object 704, or a Waffenträger Alpha Panzer IV, really, because it's kind of seen before. But you still feel really, like, you still, when you shoot at someone and do 750 damage, you're pretty happy with yourself, because that tank is down by at least a quarter of his health. if you come up against tier 10. And this tank being tier 9 will see a lot of tier 10 games. And it gets really irritating when you're grinding these guns and you just don't have the top one. But anyway, let's look at some stats of the gun. So the second gun, this is the T28's gun. T20 Proton T28. This is the same gun on T34. If you play the T34, then you know how good the gun is. If you play the T28, you will love this gun. And this is one of the main reasons why, and that's the rate of fire. 6.19 rate of fire, which is huge when you've got 400 average damage. Also 248 pen, which is definitely nothing to be smirked at. A lot of tanks at the higher tiers have that much. That is the base pen of certain guns. I know the IS-7 has that as the base pen, which is awesome. Accuracy 0.39, which isn't incredible, and the aiming time 2.3, which is pretty good. This gun is actually really good. The DPM on it is fantastic, and it will be very adequate until you get this gun. And I do sincerely recommend that you keep this gun. Although, that said, you could play this throughout the whole of the T30's lifetime, but I don't see the point when you can get this gun. And I know that before I did a Waffenträger, the Rhm.Borsig Waffenträger, and I was comparing the two guns, about one with higher DPM and one with higher average damage. When it comes to really high tiers like this, when you have a gun that can pen, the gun that does more damage will always win, because you have a lot of tanks that do a high amount of DPM, they'll be around you. And the Borsig is one of those tanks that does the high DPM because it has such low pen on the top gun. You kind of require the high pen to really do a lot of damage, and the T30 excels when it comes to high damage and high pen. I mean, this is ridiculous pen. And then if you can't pen, you just use your gold, get yourself 320, and no one cares. Rate of fire is terrible. You have an 18-second reload with the gun, which is kind of annoying. But if you change your tactics accordingly, you can work this gun really well and do some high damage games, which I will be showing you. Well, I'll be showing you one of them, because I'm going to show you one game with this gun and one game with this gun, just so that you can use both of them. And the great thing about the upgrade is that you don't lose any accuracy, which means you're still shit at hitting everything. It's just the aiming time which is lowered. But anyway, that is the gun, that is the T30. Weak points are to note exactly the same as the T29. I did a review on the T29 if you want to check that out. And the same as T34, cupola, hull. Pretty much the only weak points, apart from the obvious sides and rear. You won't bounce any shells with this unless they hit your mantlet or your turret, because this is such a weak spot. Being only 102, tier bloody 5s can pen your hull. Although it is fun, sometimes I mean, if you angle, you'll have better chance. But I mean, you got so many weak ones on the front. You got this there, you got the Underglacius, and it's just not a very good hull, to be fair. But it doesn't really matter. So yes, equipment wise, I've decided to fit mine with camo and netting. What am I on about? Camo, netting, and binos. There we go. Because this tank is definitely a support tank, just like the Borsig. But it's definitely a rear guard tank. So you're going to need that if you want to stay hidden. And then the fact that if you put camo net, you should always have binos, because you might as well. They both activate at the same time, and then it just increases your view range, so you know if anyone's flanking you. Plus, you get yourself a large caliber gun rammer, because you need it. 10% of... Basically, you turn your 18-second reload. If you didn't have that, it would be something like 24, and it's ridiculous, and you don't want to have that at all. So there we go. Also, I would like to note that I've loaded in 2 HE shells on this gun. This is because if you look at the thing, 950 average damage, with 90 pen. If there's a light tank that's bothering you, or you can sort of see, or basically the enemy is like a Waffle Tractor LV100 and that's the last guy alive or something, I would definitely recommend loading one of these shells. The fact that you reload so slowly means that you're not going to run out of shells no matter how many times you fluff up. Having 34 shells is really helpful, especially in the 28 AP. You're never going to load all of those in one battle. So having 2 HE is really nice, especially, like, you'll never need it. Like, mostly I load HE if there's artillery left, but you're never going to need it. But the thing that makes the HE really nice is the fact that it's 90 penetration, which is enough to go through a lot of light tanks, which can get really annoying. So, say a AMX 1390 or a 1375, or even any of the French tanks really, the 5100, 50B, can go right through them and do a heck of a lot more damage than the 750 average. But anyway, enough of me rambling on, let's watch some replays. So here we are on the first replay. This is with the 120 gun, if you remember, because I did say. But this is a tier 10 game, sorry for the beginning lag. Tier 10 game, middle tier, there's quite, I don't know, there's not that many tier 10s or tier 9s, like half of the team is made up of tier 9s and 10s, the other half is tier 8s. With one scout on each team. No artillery, as our object 268 is nicely reminding us. And as you can see, this tank is, you know, not slow, but definitely not fast either. And I'm going to go to the center to put in some fire support on either side, wherever it may be. And this is a really nice place to be inside a hull-down tank. Usually it's used by mediums, and because it's fast to get up there and you can move from side to side really easily. But because I don't have the top gun in my T30 right now, sorry for the lag, I don't feel comfortable. I feel comfortable going there to help out. And I put a shot into the IS-3. Now remember, this is an average of 400 with a pen of 248. I'm going to try and put a shot into him again, and successfully 390. This T62A is helping me put him down. This IS-3 has been put down on such low health, and he's killed straight away. So already we've killed an IS-3 on the enemy team. I don't want to say a T30 is a medium tank, but if you look at that reload speed, it's so good that you can use it to deal a lot of DPM damage in conjunction with medium tanks and really help them out. I mean, that IS-3 could be a big trouble. I mean, not for a T62A, but say for another tier 8 medium. And then it's the thing about, it's really weird because a T30 has such a good DPM with this gun. It has about a 7-second reload. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's something like 7 or 8 second reload. It's monstrously fast. But it's just like the T28 really. A T34 with this gun has like a 12-second reload, so the DPM is awful. That AMX 1375 is so lucky I didn't shoot him then, because Jesus Christ. Oh my God, he could have just been Amarak like that. Anyway, yeah, doing a lot of damage per minute, and we've already taken at least 2,000 damage done, maybe a bit less, but we've dealt, I don't know, most probably much less than that. T34 is backing off now, and I'm going to try and take a shot on him, but it's not working. But there's the enemy tier 10 TDs. There's two 268s up there. There's the other one, and a Waffenträger Alpha Panzer IV. I'm going to put a shot into and miss, which is really annoying. As you can see by the aiming reticle, it's not very good. The accuracy is not incredible. It could be so much better, but it could be so much worse as well. And I'm sort of wondering why I can't see this guy, and I realise, oh, he's behind a building. So I'm just going to plant myself here. The enemy are falling down to the 9 line, which is kind of irritating. And whilst the enemy here only kind of have... What the hell is that? Oh, that's his gun, I'm assuming. Yeah, but the enemy only have the 3 TDs on the 1 line, so I'm going to have to turn around and help down the heavies in the 8 line. And right now I'm just waiting for them to be spotted. I'm waiting for the TDs to be spotted to put some shots into them. But I decide against it. I'm like, well, we're going to lose the 9 line. Oh, but there's a TD that's been spotted, and I got a nice side shot on him, so I'm going to put a shot into him. 407 damage into the object. It's good. And then I decide to retreat back. We do have a huge presence in the center, if you look here. They're just not doing much. I put a shot into the Waffenträger there. And if they fell into the 9 line and help our teams, then I wouldn't need to go across to try and help them. I'm not entirely sure if I do help them, actually. I shouldn't make judgment calls. That's what I should do, is probably help my team there rather than focus on these 2 TDs. There's a 30, so there's a third TD now. Do a slightly low roll on him. But managed to do a lot of... Wow, I managed to scare him off a bit. And he kind of stays in exactly the same position, so takes another shot from me. High damage roll. That's his Amarak as well, which is there. Don't know if I get it, but I do damage him. The 2 objects over there, they take out Centurion. And the 30 has backed off a little bit. So now I decide to do a brave-ish move, or I will do it in the few, and I go forward and try and attack them in conjunction with the Borsig and the T34. We could definitely take them on. With my DPM, it's, you know, nothing should be able to stop us really. Now our heavies are going up with theirs. There's a 30. I put a blind shot into it, a kind of blind shot, like more of a clutch shot, I should say. But yeah, our heavies are down there fighting the big fight with these, but they've got all their tier 10. They've got both their tier 10 heavies and all their tier 9s right there, which is kind of irritating. So yeah, we're trying to take out the thing, but if we all survive and take the ridge here, we can probably defend it very, very easily from the oncoming storm if the enemy do manage to break through us of the line, which they seem to be able to very, very easily. I still haven't taken any damage yet. As you can see, I'm playing a very supportive role, which is how you should be able. You should play the not be able to, but how you should play this tank. I put a shot into the object, killing him. Then there's the 30s left. Such high DPM. Like, I'm so used to playing with the top gun now. This gun is so... like, Jesus. I put a shot into the object. The 30's still there. I'm kind of ignoring him because he can't get me to another high DPM. This T34 is an idiot. But there is the object. Put a shot into him and killing him. Take a side shot by the 30. He shot me now though. I've got a faster DPM than him, at least I assume I do. I'm going to ram him, I think. No, I'm going to shoot him. That could have easily hit the gun actually. That was a pretty clutch shot. But now that I look, it's 2 against 5. Kind of ridiculous. Only that's left is an Object 268 and me. Object 268 takes out a target 2 and the possibility for a Kolobanovs if he dies, because there will only be 4 enemies left. So I'm going to put myself into this rock position here to try and help out the Object 268. I check to see if he's in my range, in my direct view range. That way I can support him, but he dies straight away, which is kind of irritating. So now I'm alone against 2 tier 10s and 2 tier 9s. And I have a fast DPM gun. If I didn't have the fast DPM gun, I'd probably be much worse off. So I'm going to stay here. Actually, I don't have the binos on this setup. I don't know when I think I put the binos back on, because I don't know why I took them off in the first place, but I put the binos back on after this game, after I realised maybe I should have put the binos on. Anyway, put a shot into T54E1. People keep missing. I'm going to put another shot. I think he's reloading. He wasn't reloading. Oh no, yeah, no, he wasn't reloading. If he was reloading, he would have done something better. But I take out the T50E1, who is definitely the most dangerous enemy there. I got myself 5 kills now. So it's an IS-4, an IS-7 and a Conqueror. This is by far the most like tense I've ever been in a game. When you're against 2 tier 10s, this guy missed this shot, which was ridiculous. When you're against 2 tier 10s and a tier 9, you're just like, oh my god, what do I do? I've got a faster reload than this guy, so I'm going to put another shot into him. I've loaded the gold now, just like this T71 is saying, because I kind of need to. Now this is, right here is the bit where it all goes wrong. The Conqueror's behind me on 4 HP, the IS-7's in front of me. I'm like, who should I go for? Who the hell do I go for? Because I want to go, I can kill them both, but the thing is, as soon as I've killed one, they both kill me. There is only one way I can survive, and it's just that guy has not got the top gun, but if you look closer, he does. Oh, fuck, is that actually the top gun? I think that, yeah, that's the top gun. Because I'm wondering now if I had to pick the right choice. But because both of them there, I kind of panic, and I'm like, oh, go for the Conqueror, go for the Conqueror, go for the Conqueror. IS-4 gets me. Oh, it was ridiculous. But a hell of a good replay, and shows you really how powerful the DPM is of the gun. Now I'm going to show you the result screen, and we'll move on to the next replay.
Here's the result screen. That was a high caliber, undoubtedly, and first class, which was pretty awesome. Get myself over 1,800 XP, which is really cool. This is a premium account though, so the half and half. As you can see, I got a buckload of damage. That is over 6,000, I think. Can't really see, it's a blurred image on mine. Getting a lot more than the enemy team when it comes to damage. And as we look, I see that out of the 21 shots, I penned 18, which is pretty nice. Or I hit 18, at least I think that's what it says. But yeah, so this gun really helped me in getting a really nice result for a pretty good game. So let's move on to the next replay.
Okay guys, here's the second replay. This is with the 150 loaded and my current setup that you saw in my garage. This is actually the last game I played in my T30. And it was, I don't know, I decided, well, I've got enough. This game was sufficiently good enough to show you and do a review on the tank, because I feel like I've successfully mastered, I guess, the tank. I think I've got my mastery in it, I don't even know. But I haven't saved my mastery replay, or at least it doesn't work on what replay, so I haven't shown it. So we start the battle with the E75 trying to give me a hug of, you can do well. It's encounter on Morovanka, and we're the top tier 9s, there's only 3 of us per team. But the enemy team do have a Object 74 and a T30, so I'm going to have to work extra hard to do the damage required, really, to really carry this game. Well, not carry, but support the game. And they've got 2 Borsigs, whilst we only have 1, and a T28. So yeah, we're not doing too good TD wise, to be honest. That said, we do have a WZ-120 and an E75, which is nice because WZ-120 can do a lot of damage very quickly. So first off, we have a Tiger 1 who decides to go YOLO across the field. And look how slow this is at aiming. It's not actually that slow. I'm going to put blind shot. Don't get him. I don't think. Everyone keeps shooting in that direction as well. And I think he's only hit once, and it might have been by me, but I doubt it. I'd never checked actually. But here's a IS-3 over there. There's a Black Prince over there. Black Prince, unlucky ducky, is going to get absolutely owned by me. But because someone shot, I only do something like 20 damage at the time, which is ridiculous to do 20 damage with a 155 shell that does 750. And I know a lot of people who play high-end TDs will know the frustration, especially the ISU and stuff. Now, I wanted to shoot at the IS-3 and I got shot, and that put my shot off. Now, you heard the damage it did. You heard the shell. It was a big poof, like I don't know, like a puff of smoke, which a lot of people mistake for heat. But that's actually the noise of a 155 shell hitting you. And if a T30, if you hear that and you've been shot at and you take about 750 damage, that's not a heat shell from like an E100 or something. That is the 155 gun hitting you in the crotch. Yeah, so the 155 from the T30 or the T95, because they both have that. And even the Object 74 doesn't do that kind of noise. So there's an IS there who's sort of moving up and down the side. I'm going to reload and I'm going to put a shot into him, doing a whole lot of damage. I haven't actually killed, well, I've killed one thing, that Black Prince on 20 HP. But I put 2 big shots now into stuff. I put a big shot into the Tiger and the IS. Both tier 7 tanks are not really money makers as such, but you know, still adequate. And there's a low health KV4, but because he was angled, it actually bounced, which is pretty ridiculous when you think about it. How a shell with 275 pen manages to bounce, but I guess his angling was all over the place, and I shot him from a raised position. Going to try and get my shot on this IS-3 who evaded me last time because of the T30. The fuck's that? Oh, it's because I put free camera. Boom, there we go. Do apologise about that. I was wondering what was happening. Here's a T30, there's the bastard who put a shot into me, so I'm going to try and get a side shot into him, and I do a very low roll of 630, sorry, which is kind of annoying. You will get a lot, because the higher damage you do, the more varied the shots are, and you will get a lot more low and high rolls because of it. There's a Pershing trying to make his way across, but I don't want to take a shot on him because you don't want to take a moving shot when a gun that takes 18 seconds to reload, really. Here is a Borsig. Put a shot into him. Managed to kill him with a very high roll of 802. Well, it could have been higher. Never know, but that was a high roll, which is really nice. Spotted there is the Pershing. I'm going to try and put a shot into his turret and fire, and I do. That was not a 1000 shot, that was someone else shooting and then me adding to that score. So yeah, doing a lot of damage. I mean, I find it weird that I've managed to bounce on the KV4's hull but not on the turret of the Pershing. It was strange. It's very strange, especially since the Pershing has a very troll mantlet on its turret. That IS-3 is still alive, only on 18 HP though, and I don't know whether I should go for the shot. I really don't want to be honest. But, and I decided not to, so I'm going to move forward and try... Oh, we know where the enemy are. They're in this position here, so we're going to move up, try and take them down. Moving up. As you can see, I'm in a very supportive position. This tank plays a lot like the Borsig does in my latest review. It's a very support tank. It camps. It's not really a campy tank. You don't have to play it like a campy tank. That's not like I was aggressive campy. There's a T69. This guy's going to put a full clip into me, but I don't care. I'm going to put a whole shot into him. And he does to put me down low, but because he couldn't one-shot me, I didn't really care. He couldn't clip me. I didn't care. And he only actually managed to pen 3 of them. So actually he could have clipped me. Oh, he must have... Oh, I don't know, he sucks then. He didn't manage to clip me. What a failure. But yeah, put a massive shot into his turret as well, which is always fun to do. Tanking shots is always fun. But as I was saying... What was I saying? I was saying about camping. Oh yeah, well it's not really a campy tank. Like, I'm not camping, am I? And yeah, everyone dies. So yeah, it's not really a campy tank. It's just a rear guard, kind of, to add to support to the advance of the heavies and the mediums, which you saw me do in this replay. So let's go to the results screen and give our final verdict on the tank. So here's the results screen. Another high caliber, as you can expect to get a lot of with that gun, and over 2,600 XP. That was a double though, so take that with a pinch of salt. Did 4,400 damage. Not as much as the previous game, but the previous game really was about DPM. And to an extent, there's a big debate on what gun's better. I like the high alpha a lot, because you get a lot of pen, which means you can really decimate the enemy tanks, do a buttload of damage. Whilst the higher DPM one, you do way more shots, so you can really do a constant rate of fire, taking out the tanks, taking off the HP of every tank, one after the other, without too much of a problem. But it's the pen. There's a big penetration difference, and I like the Top Gun better just because that penetration is so key to hitting those high tier tanks, which you will face off a lot. So that's the T30, guys, a tank I would heartily recommend. It's a very nice backline tank. I don't know, it's not incredible. It's not, but I enjoy it. I enjoy the tank a lot, and I play it regularly. And it's a nice tank to just have fun in, which is rare in certain tanks. A lot of the tanks I grind I don't have fun in. But this tank, I don't feel like I'm grinding. I'm not grinding it either. I'm just playing it when I want to, really. And it's a really nice tank. So that's my verdict on the T30. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you next time for more awesome content. See you next time.